Hi everybody, I chose to do my book talk on Bat 6 by Virginia Ewers Wolf. Rivalries are something that we all experience. For example, it could be the Bears versus the Packers or something like that. And then there's crosstown rivalries such as the White Sox and the Cubs. For these 6th grade girls, it's the Bear Creek Ridge grade school team versus the Barlow Road grade school. And the tension is high and there's a lot of issues that arise, but not for the reason that someone would think. For a brief summary, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what the book is about, it is a story about these two girls that are going to these schools. Well, it's a group of girls, and every 6th grade year they get to play the softball game, and it's a super huge deal, and everyone gets so excited about it. While each team at the beginning of the book gets this new secret weapon player. For one team, her name is Aki, and for the other one, there's Shazam. However, one of the Shazam hates Aki, but no one really knows why until it's too late. But the story is told from all these different viewpoints given by all the different characters. Some girls pick up on the hostility from Shazam towards Aki, but no one really knows what to do. Over the duration of the book, you get introduced to a couple different characters, and the first couple pages, here's kind of an example. You see the names of the girls, although you probably can't see it that well. You see the position that they play, and then their coaches and how they bat and throw. So it kind of gives you a little introduction to who you're going to be dealing with. I'm going to read you my favorite passage. It's written by Tootie, who is the catcher from the Bear Creek Ridge Grade School. Now that it's over, we are telling. We voted to. It's fairer than not. We're all taking our turns, even the ones who don't want to speak up. I'm going first because I was first. Sort of. Even though it's hard to tell exactly where it began, exactly when, it began so many different places. So, they're all saying how they want to tell their stories of exactly what happened, and I think that's a super good idea because then you see all the different viewpoints and stuff. The connection that I think it really makes is that it can be connected to a social studies unit because the reason that Shazam hates Aki comes kind of from a United States history standpoint, but I'm not going to tell you which one because I don't want to spoil it and give it away. So you guys should definitely read the book because then you'll understand what I'm saying. The book was written by Virginia Ewers Wolf. She passed away on March 28th, 1941 at the age of 59 after committing suicide. Between the onset of World War I, the destruction of her London home, and it worsened her to be no longer to be able to do what she loved, which was writing. Bat 6 wasn't actually published until 1998, and one famous quote she said during her existence was, "A woman must have money and a room of her own if she wants to write fiction." She believed that to promote your stories, you need to have your own space, but then you also need to have money to promote yourself because back when she was around, women didn't have as many rights as men did. If for a novel unit, I would definitely coordinate with a social studies teacher on this because, like I said, there is a major historical event that occurs and which kind of foreshadows or plays a role in this book. I might even use it in a race relations unit if I was going to do lit circles, so to speak, in a language arts class because there's so many different deals, and the main idea with this book is the racism of a white girl towards a Japanese girl, and I feel like too often kids think the main idea is whites versus blacks, but there's so many other groups who discriminate against each other, and this just gives so many more kids a different viewpoint to see what how racism is more than just two cultures hating each other. If I chose to do this as such as a race relations unit, I would definitely do a small group lit circle because there are so many books out there that can touch on all different race topics. But if I was going to do it as a class-wide novel, like I said, I would try to coordinate with the social studies teacher so that I could get them thinking and they could make the connections and understand. For reading activities, I would probably have students research the main idea in the book and maybe try to look into what the lives of young adolescents during this time were so they could see just exactly what they were going through. Students could put themselves in the shoes of these characters and see what they were experiencing. For example, I could say, okay, well, whatever Shazam did in the book, do you agree or disagree with how she reacted? What would you do? Whose side would you pick? And there's so many different type of discussion type questions that I could use for this book. I would probably, in regards to other texts and contexts, I would definitely tie in the idea of racism and discrimination and bullying because racism is more than just blacks versus whites. There's so many other cultures, there's so many other races that get bullied and get judged simply because of who they are or where they came from. And overall, my vision of the book is that students at the end can see how there can be two different perspectives to every story. They'll understand why Shazam acted out the way she did. They'll understand how Aki reacted the way she did. And they will see all why the students acted each way for which they did. It's a very good book. I highly recommend it even if you're not in middle school. It's really enjoyable. It's a pretty easy read. And there's definitely some subliminal messages that I think would be even good for an adult to see, and it tells you just to kind of go with your gut, which is, I think, an attribute that we should all remember to use. Okay, thank you.